This spoiler should be ashamed. Meghan's act of stealing the limelight backfired. We already know that Meghan calls up the paparazzi when there's any important event with the important members of the British royal family happening, and I do not believe for 1 second that is a coincidence. I think that Meghan has a problem with narcissism, and this, my friends, is classic narcissism. The attention, the focus has to be on her at all times. She's always got to try and control the narrative, even if she's not doing a very good job of it. Pretty interesting to me how the paparazzi always seem to find Meghan when she's out by herself or with Harry, but we never see Harry out there by himself. Perhaps because he doesn't call them up and tell them where he's gonna be? Is he not just as important as Meghan is? I'm guessing he is out and about, but he's never photographed by himself. So what, the paparazzi just wait outside the gate and wait for Meghan to come out? I don't think so. People are not as dumb as Meghan believes we are. Everybody knows what she's up to. Narcissism is a pretty bizarre condition, and that is why most people can tell that something is wrong with her, but maybe people cannot exactly put their finger on it. Everybody has a little bit of narcissism in us, of course, but hers is just out of this world. If you've ever known anybody who has this level of narcissism, well, it's pretty fascinating to watch. They just go back and forth between grandiosity and acting like a small child. So examples of grandiosity would be Meghan calling senators and using her Duchess of Sussex title and telling them how they should vote, or releasing a public statement calling on world leaders to support Ukraine as if anybody cares what she has to say, or lecturing the entire world about the climate crisis and the Constitution of the US. Some examples of the childlike behavior would be the way that she looked at the Queen's funeral walkabout. She looked like a small child, especially when they got out of the car and then she started walking towards the crowd. Now, compared to Catherine, who looked so confident, so self-assured, Meghan looked really unsure. When Catherine simply looked at her, she looked like she was gonna piss herself. Another example would be the Veterans Ball when she wore that red dress, the way she acted meeting the other people, and then when she turned around to talk about how proud she was of Harry was very childlike. If you have not gotten to see the footage of that, please look it up on YouTube. Narcissists are known for love bombing and then devaluing their partners. An example of the love bombing would be the engagement interview. Everyone has been wonderful and welcoming. And then the devaluing stage would be the Oprah interview where she trashed the whole royal family. Now, Harry, I think, has been in a state of devaluation for a long time now, and I would expect things are getting even worse by the day. The way that Meghan always lies or exaggerates or just twists the truth is also an example of her narcissism. Playing the victim is another example of narcissism. Now, a great example of this would be the docu-series, when Meghan is sitting on the floor wearing no makeup and she's got that towel on her head and she says, "In not standing for something, they are destroying us." When she said that, she also sounded like she might have histrionic personality disorder too. And another example, perhaps my favorite example, would be that car chase. Narcissists act like they do the most work of anybody and they're the most intelligent people out there, but when it all comes down to it, they're unreliable and they end up being called grifters. Meghan loves to call up the paparazzi when something important happens in the lives of the UK royals. She's trying to draw attention away from them and right back to herself. She is so jealous of their success in spite of all her efforts to bring them down. She's a narcissist, and she's jealous of anybody who's getting the attention that she thinks she deserves more than they do. And she was all upset because somebody laid down the law with her. Somebody told her, "You are going to wear this black dress. You're not going to wear a bunch of fancy jewelry. You're not going to be clinging onto Harry all the time." She reminded me of a little girl who has been told off big time. And I'm glad they did that because that was such a serious, solemn occasion. The palace was not going to put up with any of her BS. And of course, the palace also stopped Meghan and Harry from doing that walkabout that they planned for themselves because there would have been so much booing without William and Catherine there. People were upset, understandably so, and things could have become very unpleasant at the sight of Meghan with that smirk on her face and Harry the traitor. The palace PR team knows how to do their jobs. It was just a strategy created by Harry and Meghan to try to undermine every event the King and Queen or Prince and Princess of Wales attend. The only thing Meghan and Harry really accomplished, though, is looking more idiotic and jealous than they already do. As long as they have access to the royal calendar, they're going to continue with their efforts to get publicity wherever and however they can. I'm sure that WME agency is working around the clock to try to make Meghan seem palatable, but to tell you the truth, it's a losing battle. And that's because there's just not that much to like about her. She's desperate, she's insecure, she's incredibly vain, and she believes that everybody in the world loves her, that she's just so awe-inspiring. And this also makes her delusional and proves that she is in desperate need of therapy. Meghan cannot stand it when the royal family gets attention. She calls up the paparazzi for one big reason: she is jealous. Her strategy is to divide and conquer, to get the media to pick up on something about her, and that's going to mean that there's less attention directed to the royal family. It really seems like Harry and Meghan are convinced that if they keep on doing the same thing they're doing now, it's going to finally break us, and we're going to see things their way. And every time Meghan does it, she just humiliates herself and makes herself look like an even bigger loser. She's one sick cookie, she's desperate, she's a narcissist. Now, unfortunately, the media picks up on giving Meghan attention, and that just encourages her to promote fake news on a regular basis. Maybe if she hadn't passed away, Diana could have taught Meghan a thing or two about how to manipulate the media. Now, Harry still believes that his mother was an absolute saint, and that's going to rub off on them. He doesn't realize that that image cost her a lot, both in time, money, and genuine friendships. Unfortunately for her, Meghan cannot stand it when anybody else gets attention, especially the family, who do get a lot more attention than she does, and rightly so. Meghan is so jealous of the royal family, especially Catherine, the Princess of Wales, because she is so incredibly popular, and the Prince of Wales is too, as well as their gorgeous children. Meghan would love to have the same amount of exposure as the royal family does, so she has to stage these outings and make sure that photographers know where she's going to be and when, and typically this is going to coincide with important events involving the royal family. Maybe one day she'll learn how to actually live her life and allow everybody else to just get on with it, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. To look on the bright side, Meghan is a pretty good source of basically daily amusement, and also she makes me so interested in personality disorders. Ever since they left, Harry has gone after the UK government, claiming that it has colluded with the media. He has sued the Met Police, the UK press, the head of state, and called the UK racist. Now, does anybody like him for all that? Probably not. Everybody knows the police are civil servants. They're not hire a cop. And everybody knows that taxpayers paid $500,000 just to fight that stupid lawsuit. And so does anybody still like them? Probably not. And let's not forget about the BLM crap that should have been about US police brutality. They have turned that into a movement for reparations. Now, people like Dr. Shola, who apparently is a fan of Meghan Markle, were talking to Her Late Majesty the Queen, asking the British people to pay reparations. So we see Harry attacking the whole UK government, the police, the head of state, the free press, and then Meghan and her little buddies are attacking the racist UK and begging for money. Does anybody still like them? I don't know about you, but I sure don't. Please continue to discuss Meghan and Harry with us below in the comments. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share it with anyone else who needs it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.